I'm Manu. I'm one of the MRI radiographers who work for Darcy Healthcare, and I lead the service for the MRI clinic at Darcy Healthcare. So I'm here to talk about how MRI works and what a radiographer does day to day. MRI stands for magnetic resonance imaging, and we use strong magnets and radio waves to take pictures from the inside of the body. Now, as a radiographer, my job is really to make sure we provide a safe, effective service in the department. As a lead, I also do a lot of protocol setup so we get the best diagnostic quality images as well. MRI doesn't use any radiation or anything like that, so it's very good for younger patients, and if we need to do a lot of repeat scans, or if we want to do a lot of follow-up scans, that's one of the main advantages of MRI. Now, if you look into the footage and behind me, you can hear there is a chirping noises going on. That's actually a coolant system that actually keeps the magnet really nice and cool. So as a radiographer as well, my job is to make sure that if there are people who are claustrophobic, who are anxious about the scan, to make sure that they feel comfortable, give them reassurance and all that. So the scan ranges from around 15 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on what anatomy you scan. So MRI gives a lot of information on soft tissues, muscles, tendons, bones, and work on quite a lot of other soft organs and all that. As you can also see in the background, you can see a heart beating there as well. So we do a lot of live MRI scans as well. That actually gives a lot of different sort of information on function and all that of the heart. Now, as a radiographer again, we don't do any diagnosis of the scan, but it's quite important, you know a lot of pathology and anatomy, so we can do the right scan and look at the right area where we do the scans as well. We don't diagnose them, as I mentioned, but obviously it's quite important we flag them off to the reporting radiologists so they get looked into fairly quickly and urgently as well. We have a lot of different technologies come up available now in terms of scanning pediatrics, people who actually can't keep still, and all that. So the new integration softwares has made MRI a lot better. With the new AI technologies, even if the patients are moving a little bit, we still tend to get pictures that are much more clearer than the olden scanners. So the new generation scanners are much better. Being an MR radiographer is really exciting as well, because every day it's different learning. It's a mixture of a lot of things: physics, technology, healthcare, interaction with the patient. So if you're learning radiography, or if you're planning to do it, I would say stick with it, simply because there is a lot of opportunities to grow into different areas of the spectrum. So what you're seeing here is actually a pressure injector. So what injector does is we, for quite a lot of patients, we do give something called as a contrast injection, just to make everything a bit more diagnostic. So what the contrast actually does is it just makes everything a bit more clearer and diagnostic. So that's the injector that we use. Obviously, we close the door when we do the scan, so everything else is operated, from the scan room itself. So we can remotely operate the injections and all that. So we have a connector inside where we connect everything to a cannula inside a patient, and then we use this remote monitor to operate that when we do the scans. Now, if you come into the screen here, what you're actually seeing here is a heart, a scan of the heart, and you can see how it's beating. So that's when I said about live scanning. We can see how it's functioning. As you're seeing, that's your ventricles, that's your atrium, and we can see that heart is contracting as well in between. Now, on top of that, we can also do other scans like still scans as well. So what you're seeing here is a lumbar spine MRI scan for the lower back. Now, we take hundreds of pictures from the same patient. So when you come down to a lower back MRI scan, we are roughly looking into around 200 and 250 plus pictures from the same patient in different directions. So what you're seeing here is a lower back scan starting from sacrum down there, going up. And what you're seeing in between there is the spinal cord, and the fluid between there is the CSF that you're seeing, cerebrospinal fluid that you're seeing there. So we do it in different weightings as well. So what you see here is bright scan. We say that fluid is bright, and then we take a different sort of scan, which is a little bit darker, so we can differentiate pathologies if there is anything as well. Now these are on different directions, so this is another different kind of scan that we do. We call it a stir sequence. and then we slice anatomy in a different direction. So if you think about a human body, when we slice it from left to right, it's called as a sagittal image. If we slice it from front to back, it's called as a coronal. And if you slice top to bottom, it's called an axial image. So what you're seeing there is called as an axial image. This is a sag image when we slice somebody from right to left. So that's how the images look like. Okay, so we select the patient and we enter the height and weight. It's quite important we enter those two details onto the machine, because the scanner calculates all the energy depending on the height and weight. Once everything is selected, we speak to the patient. Scan's going to start now. Expect loud noise from the scanner. Then you'll start hearing all the background noise. So the scanner is obviously very loud and noisy. That's how our MRI scanner works. It's because there's lots of transformers and quite a lot of equipment that switches currents in between. That's why it's very loud and noisy. So we give earplugs to the patients and headphones as well, so they can have a selection of music if they want to listen to during the scan. But earplugs and headphones are quite important because the scanner is very noisy and we have to protect the hearing of the patient. So here, what you're seeing here is you're scanning a lower back, the medical terms, lumbar spine scan. So we position, our slices depending on what orientation we want the pictures to come up on. So what you're seeing as yellow boxes down here is actually the planning that we do, the area that we're going to be scanning. And then each single scan that we are taking takes around 2.5 minutes to 4 minutes each. That's how long the scan normally takes. And then obviously we reassure the patients as well. So we speak to them in between the scans to make sure they're feeling all right as well. So before we start the scan, we just tell them how long the scan is going to take and all that. First main scan is going to start now. This is going to take around 3.5 minutes. And then we wait for another 3 minutes before we get the main scans. And then we will have around 3 to 4 different sets of scans depending on what area we're scanning. But obviously if you're scanning something like a complex scan like a heart, then we have possibly around 20-25 plus scans that we have to do in different orientations. But this scan is going to roughly take around 10-12 minutes.